Thank you. Everybody, it is another WXR, the wrestling thing we do here, where we go through the previous week's news and happenings of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main event, all that goodness. And also then we wrap it up with the news and rumors section. So as a change of pace this week, instead of NXT and Total Divas, we have some SmackDown news, which should be exciting because it's been a while since I've heard about what's going on the other side of the ring.
Vintage
So,
mall.
Vintage Mole. Yes. It's Vintage Mole. He's talking about SmackDown. That's his special move. The writing stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Cole can't get anything right.
It's a modified Raw review.
It's a modified Raw review. Nice.
Well, considering that at this point in time, approximately 40-50% of SmackDown is clips of Raw.
Not for the last 3 weeks.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so as usual, we will start off with the Raw recap and all that goodness. So take it away, Marcus Shadow.
All right. Well, this Raw was interesting. Had a few surprises. Trying to remember the very beginning of it. I'm actually kind of looking over stuff at the moment. Looks like I don't remember the beginning of Raw.
It was probably the intro song.
Looks like looks like it was another Rollins bit where he got attacked once again from Cena on the stage, and then Ambrose from the crowd. Oh, that's right, because Rollins tried to run up into the crowd, and he's all like, Cena, you can't get me. And then Ambrose came out behind him and just kind of stood there, and Rollins, without looking, just kind of, like knew someone was back there, but thought it was just like a fan or whatever. It was like smacked him on the shoulder, and then turned around, and there's Ambrose just kind of sitting there staring at Cena from up there, and then just kind of glances down to Rollins and then starts beating the crap out of him, and Rollins runs for it again. It's kind of funny.
They've missed out on a huge opportunity here.
What's that?
Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring. John Cena comes out, and Seth Rollins like, "Don't you come anywhere near me, or basically the authority has ordered me to attack you, or to have you arrested. You can't get near me." Then have Cena do his "you can't see me" motion as he slowly walks towards the ring. And Seth Rollins like, "Wait, where the hell did he go?" And he's like shining the spotlight for him as he approaches, waving his hand.
There you go.
I wish.
But yeah, then the Authority came out. I think Triple H came out with Steph and basically made a match. It was Cena and Ambrose versus Rollins, Kane, and Orton for the main event of Raw. More on that later. No other opinions or anything?
I liked it.
Sounds
Fair.
cool, but now I kind of wanted to see Cena disappear.
We need to make an RPG where you can use invisibility powers. That way, it's them walking forward like that. But no, I liked it. My only problem is the same problem I have with that feud.
Mm-hmm.
It feels, ironically, like Cena has just been shoehorned in because Brock's not there. Because this is Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins' feud they've been having for months and months and months, and now suddenly Cena's after him. I understand why Cena's after him, but come on.
Yeah. I agree. So I hope that, well, we'll get to that later, but I hope the Lunatic Fringe wins. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the next match we have is Dolph Ziggler and the Usos versus Goldust, Stardust, and Cesaro, and the good guys win. It was kind of your just cookie cutter match, 6-man tag match. I don't really remember much about this particular match.
It was okay. But I'm just going to make a teasement and say 6-man tag.
Yeah.
You'll find out why later, but yeah. But how about Jim? Did Jim get home at this point? I think Jim's muted.
No, I wasn't home this early in the show, but I'll let you know.
Fair enough.
All right, moving on. And we come to probably the part of Raw that, yeah, was done kind of not very well. Wow, okay, WWE apparently doesn't know the name of their host.
Wait for
So
it.
Kathy Lee Gifford and Hoda Cobb come out with Adam Rose and the Rosebuds for a party. Of course, on WWE's website, they have it as Katie Lee. It's like, okay, you don't know the name of your host. Good job, WWE.
Technically, isn't Katie short for Catherine?
Yeah, but she goes by Kathy Lee, not Katie. She's never gone by Katie Lee, as far as I know.
Fair enough. Maybe they're getting her confused with Katie Lee Butchill.
Maybe.
It's
yeah,
a
so
common
they come-
mistake.
I can't tell you the number of times I've done that.
But yeah, so they come out. They're wearing like silver Ric Flair style robes with the pink breast cancer awareness logo, and they're on each arm of Adam Rose. They come out with the rosebuds, and they kind of saunter with him down the ring down the ramp to the ring. They get in the ring, and Adam Rose lets them do their thing, which is to be honest, was kind of a stupid bit. Where they smash bottles over each other's asses. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. It was kind of a stupid bit. I think Mole might have a little more to say on that.
I have more to say on that, but I'll wait till later because part of it is to do it later on. But my main thing with that is it was a silly bit. However, the idea behind the bit was good, as it's giving the awareness to the cancer, to the
Yes.
the cancer, getting better place. Cancer
Wow.
awareness place.
The cancer getting better place.
I can't remember its
Pat Penny.
its name. I can't remember its name, but I do remember when I was watching Raw with my brother, he said that would be inappropriately wrong, and no. I said I wanted to see Brock Lesnar come out and wear a pink shirt that said "Eat, sleep, cure cancer, repeat."
That would be awesome.
But yeah, that was kind of dumb.
It was dumb, but the reason for it is a genuine reason. The Cancer Awareness Month and stuff. It's a damn good reason. What you're doing is pretty fucking awesome. You're getting awareness for breast cancer and stuff. Cool. Don't make it something that people are like and don't want to pay attention to, because that's taking the focus off what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I agree.
It'd be like me trying to do an Ebola concert right now, and my main event was Carrot Top.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be curious the type of props he was going to use for that, but still.
You don't want to know.
Oh, excuse me.
That's what WWE needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
They need to bring Carrot Top in as a guest host of Raw, put him in a hardcore match, and during his matchup, have him stop and make hilarious puns with each weapon, and then get his ass kicked as a result.
There you go.
I'd take that even in the game. That'd be awesome.
Yes. But I know, I assume Jim's still not home, but what did you think about what we mentioned about the cancer awareness section, Jim?
Chirp, chirp, chirp. I
Well,
keep hitting the thing that's muted. And it looks like they did a good job bringing attention to it and promoting it in a way that worked for what they needed it to.
But the whole thing was it didn't work.
Yeah, the thing we want about was it didn't work because they made it the most boringest part of Raw, to the point on social media at the same time it was happening. Even people like Edge and then female wrestlers and shit were then basically insulting the segment because it was like one of the most horrible, painful segments to watch on Raw since God knows when.
Fair enough.
Since the last Fozzy concert.
Ah.
But yes, moving on. So that brings us to Bo Dallas versus Mark Henry, where Bo Dallas got his ass kicked. And then he won the match via countout.
This right here is where I came in. I came into Bo Dallas entering the ring for this match.
Which means you came home to Bo leave.
Pretty much.
Yep. So the Bo Dallas Mark Henry feud continues. Moving on.
You have to admit that was kind of cool though, with Bo Dallas getting the victory and because Mark Henry's clearly losing his temper. While the segment was a little short and silly, the reasons behind it's kind of cool, and I kind of like the fact that Bo Dallas is actually one-upping Mark Henry and proving that you don't need to outpower Mark Henry, which is the mistake everyone tries to do. He's just outthinking him. I kind of like that. It adds a new level to this feud.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Moving on.
So then we move on to Dean Ambrose coming out to the ring to address John Cena and the fact that on SmackDown when they teamed up, John Cena basically ditched Ambrose to go run after Rollins, thus costing them the match. And Cena comes out to rebuttal, and they go at it with words for a little while. Ambrose basically like, I don't know whether to trust you or not. I don't give me a reason to not trust you, to not like you. I already don't like you very much, but don't give me a reason to hate you, kind of thing. Cena basically, he said that earlier in the night, and then Cena basically comes back and says the same thing to him. And Ambrose is like, all right, fine, you want to be that way about it? You just give me a reason to kind of hate you, so yeah, you're on your own, bye. And he just leaves. So it's now a 3-on-1 handicap match for John Cena. For later in the night, for the main event. So yeah, the Ambrose-Cena feud, if you can call it that, is starting to heat up. And it's actually kind of funny because they actually had cameras through the streets of New York, because they were in New York. And they actually followed Ambrose down to the train station and showed Ambrose on the train, on the subway. It's kind of hilarious.
If you think about it, the strategy by Dean Ambrose is actually brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wanted to see the Authority and Seth Rollins get their asses kicked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, by leaving the arena, he turned the odds against John Cena. That'll turn him into Superman so he can destroy them.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well for Cena, as we'll find out later.
Well, no, but normally that would work.
Yes, this is pre-Brock destroying Cena. Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah, pre-Brock destroying Cena, 3-on-1 handicap. Please, Cena does that before he has breakfast in the morning. This is the guy that with Triple H fought the entire locker room. What, are we still supposed to forget this?
It's been over 3 months. I think we are.
That is true. That is true.
Wasn't there some other guy with them for that fight? Somebody from Chicago or something? I don't know.
But then that moves us to our first Diva match of the night. Brie Bella versus Summer Rae. And Brie Bella with one arm tied behind her back, and Brie Bella, of course, wins. Because Brie Bella.
Brie mode!
Whatever.
I would also argue with the segment.
Okay.
It was cool because of how they did it. It makes perfect fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
But as I argued, she didn't have one arm tied behind her back. It was more strapped because they now have a harness for the sole purpose of tying one arm behind someone's back.
It happens that often.
Apparently it does.
It does. We've seen loads of one arm matches.
Yeah, we have.
And I do love the fact that we've seen loads of them. Whenever it's the guys doing the one-armed matchups, everyone's like, okay, that's kind of cool. I understand it for storyline purposes. The second it's the females, everyone's like, that's stupid. It's like, really? It's like the same thing where when Stephanie was arresting the Bellas, it was like, really? You're going to have a superstar arrested? That's stupid. It's like, you didn't say this whenever they have a guy escorted out of the building. Yeah, that's different. I care about that. Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, like when they have Dean Ambrose arrested and escorted out of the building every goddamn week.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but I liked it.
And the match itself wasn't terrible. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm kind of getting bored of the feud.
Well,
The feud.
I kind of agree with that, but I kind of like the fact that the commentators talked up the feud properly at the end of the match to make the point that, the point is that Brie Bella is doing all the things that Nikki was unable to do when Stephanie was turned against her, and that she got her ass kicked in handicap matches, and that got her ass kicked with her hand tied behind her back, and yet she's making Brie do the same things, and Brie is actually winning these matches, showing that it can be done.
Yep. To be fair, we've only had 3 months of this feud, if that. That's normally how long the guy feuds are.
True.
Well, I'm not saying I'm getting bored of it because of the length. I'm just saying I'm just getting bored of it because I'm getting bored of it. Because it's like, as soon as Nikki started in with the "you're gonna go through the same shit I went through," yeah, that's where I started getting bored. Because I'm just like, okay, and I knew where they were gonna go with it too. I was like, yeah, so Brie's gonna win every single match, isn't she? Just because she's the face. I'm like, I don't know if I like this. It almost seems like. I understand what they're going for, but it almost seems to me like they're kind of being lazy because I'm like, I want to see something new. I want to see something that feels like it's a feud between them, not not more like it's more of an extension of the Stephanie feud. I'm like, I don't like that.
To be fair, the Stephanie feud was what evolved into this, so it's all still one feud. Although saying you get bored with this because they're doing the same types of things with this, which has been 2 weeks of this, where they've been doing you're doing the same segments. Isn't Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins really the most dragged out feud on WWE with the stupid stuff like him emerging from a car?
It is.
And it's always the same stupid stuff of, he's going to pop out of nowhere and assault him. Oh, look, he popped out of nowhere and assaulted him. But it's still cool.
One time he was in a box.
Yeah.
We've all been in a box at some point.
I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's
Step
just
one, cut a hole in the box.
It's just this feud isn't holding my
Step 2, question
interest.
mark. Step 3, profit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is fair enough, Marcus. But yeah, like I said, I kind of like this because it's kind of cool seeing Brie overcome this because she's not super Cena-ing it either. Like, she's not overcoming the odds in a ridiculous Superman fashion. Like, the way she beat Summer Rae was a distraction caused Summer Rae to basically go into the ropes, and then she capitalized and stuff. It worked. She's basically winning barely, but she is winning, and that's kind of cool. It's not like she's not like super Cena-ing it. Because if this was Cena, he would have just gone, "Ugh," or if it was even with Daniel Bryan, it would have been, ripped the fucking armband off and just wrestled her out. Like, no, I don't want to see that.
Fair enough.
Moving on.
We have Jack Swagger versus Natalia's husband. And, yeah, Natalia's husband's a douche. We already know this. Well, he does another douche move. He uses Natalia as a human shield.
He's a heel. He's supposed to be a douche. And it works.
But,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interject, but you skipped over the awesome segment in which The Miz and his stunt double talked to Corporate Kane.
I don't remember that segment.
They were in the backstage, and Miz and his stunt double came in and basically started talking crap to Kane, saying, basically Kane puts him in a match against Sheamus for later. Actually, Kane gets pissed off at Miz coming in and yelling at him.
Actually, that's not what happened.
It's not?
They came in to speak to Kane because they had given him a lovely fruit basket.
That's right, the fruit basket, I forgot.
The Miz is talking to Kane, and Sandow again is just repeating everything Miz says behind him, but not out loud. They're just miming what Miz is doing and stuff, which is hilarious. And Kane's like, look, you really think I haven't had enough of suck-ups at you trying to basically get back one over with me with some sucky little fruit basket? No, this isn't going to cut it, no. And then he ends up making the match. But I love the idea they tried to send Kane a fruit basket. It's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Miz comes back in a moment later and he takes the fruit basket with him.
Yep.
I do, now that you mention it, I do vaguely remember that segment, but I think I missed the very beginning of it, so I didn't know what it was about. I just knew Miz was in there with Mizdow talking to Kane, so I just kind of ignored it.
Fair enough.
You don't like Miz down Miz? Oh.
Apparently he
I
doesn't.
do, but I didn't know what was going on, so I didn't have any interest. I was like, okay, whatever, they're talking to Kane.
Anyway,
yeah.
Tyson Kidd and Jack Swagger.
I'm gonna say, welcome to Rick's role every single one of these podcasts.
Ah.
Never gonna give you up.
The only
Never gonna
difference,
let you down.
I'm gonna say the only difference between you and Rick, to quote Men in Back, he makes this look good.
Pretty much.
Boom! I validate Rick.
Yay.
My validation XP is going up.
Validate, level up.
But yes, Jack Swagger versus Tyson Kidd. So yeah, the ending of the match was kind of cool because Jack Swagger basically locks Kidd in with a catch Patriot lock or catch ankle lock.
Yes,
as
which
we
if I
like to
recall
call
correctly was sloppy as hell.
Yeah, I thought it was
Some-
sloppy. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
too as sloppy as people made out.
Yeah, it was a little bit sloppy, but I thought it was cool that at least they tried it, and he locked it in. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. And so the Natty v. her husband feud continues.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tyson Kidd, you're gonna lose that feud,
Natty's better.
and I think Richter can corroborate that assessment.
What do you mean, Richter? Don't name him. He's Wife Blade's husband. Wife Blade husband.
Fair enough. But yes, when it's husband v. wife, wife always wins the feud, don't they, Rick?
Yes. Now don't hurt me.
It depends how hard you punch her.
I was gonna say, Marcus, tell that to Triple H.
Ha.
I'm pretty sure Triple H has been Stephanie's bitch for years.
Yep.
Fair enough.
And then that brings us to the segment that proves once and for all that Roman Reigns is indeed related to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Because he brings it live via satellite.
Whoa, hang on a minute. We're just gonna gloss over the E and C here.
Oh, did they put their thing up? I don't know.
To be fair, that was more of an advert though. But it was
Yeah,
still
it's an
kind
advert
of
for. Oh, I still need to go back and watch that actually. But it was an advert for a
but-
thing they were going to do after Raw.
Yeah, but it was
Where-
awesome. It was the 50th anniversary SmackDown special live on the W Network for just $99. $99.
Yeah.
How much?
$99. It was gonna be awesome. It was good. There was gonna be throwback memories. There was gonna be poses. There was gonna be all kinds of good stuff.
Yep, I need to go back and watch that. But yes, Edge and Christian on the WWE Network. You can go see them now for how much, audience?
666.
No. That's only if you want to see Kane. But yes, I need to go back and watch that. And they actually aired. They had a couple of promo spots throughout the show. Like I think 2 or 3 of them. It was kind of going. They would alternate. Like Edge would speak on one, and then Christian would speak on the next one. It was kind of cool. It was awesome to see them together, and it was weird actually to see them both with short hair.
Well, I'm confused about something with the WWE Network.
What's that?
Why did they only show the $9.99 price? Isn't it supposed to cost more if you only get 1 month and just go monthly like that, like the Netflix ones, instead of paying 6 months on the run?
I think so.
Yes.
Which means they're basically not promoting one of the best features, because people who want to test it out could try it for 1 month, see if they like it, and that could make them then get the 6-month thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can try it out for 1 month for just $12.99, I think.
But yes, Roman
anyway,
Reigns
yes,
basically
via satellite.
shows up on the screen via satellite and
In a stupid segment.
talks about his recovery and stuff. So yeah, it was basically Roman Reigns saying, "Hi, I'm still alive. I'm still here. I'm going to come back and I'm going to kick ass." Moving on.
Yeah, but stupid segment for the reason I pointed out. He's
What's that?
supposed to be either in his home or in the hospital, whichever one they said. Yet it's pitch black and looks like a studio. Make it a real location so it seems legit.
Yeah.
This means he can't be bothered coming here, so they brought out a load of lighting and sound crews and backdrops and shit to went, no, I don't like that. I know. What would Rick think?
About trying to make it look legit.
Yeah, about trying to make it look real instead of it's meant to be a spur of the moment thing where he's addressing the fans from a proper location because he can't be there, and yeah, it's pitch black all around him and he's lit up, so it's like a studio.
Well, it's obviously not spur of the
But
moment, considering they heavily promoted it for a week beforehand.
They may have heavily promoted it, but it was meant to be because he couldn't be there. That was the reason he was doing it, Jim. Like, it was a spur of the moment for him, even though he announced it, he wasn't going to be able to be there, so they did it that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it would have looked better if they'd had, like a living room behind him or something.
Yeah, or a hospital or something. It would have been cooler.
Was it supposed to look like the old Shield promo things?
No, it was just him in front of a black sheet.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was just him in like a black screen. It looked weird.
Maybe they forgot to put in the effects.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He was supposed to be stood there with like dragons and lava and shit behind him. They just forgot to CG it in.
They were gonna put in the outside the prison thing.
Yeah.
Ah. Referencing our own continuity for the win. But yes.
Boom.
Yep, and that brings me to why is this feud still a thing? Oh, it's so stupid. We have El Torito versus Gator Swoggle. Which, as much as I like Gator Swoggle, because I think it's kind of cool and the outfit's cute, why? Just why?
You would look so good in that.
And Torito wins the match, if you can call it a match.
It's because this match is basically like WWE have always done for years. It's basically the comic relief segment. Because fans are kind of entertained by this. It's kind of silly. And even I'm starting to warm up to it because it's kind of hilarious seeing a little midget dressed as an alligator. It's like they wrote down my dream and paid me to see it.
Yeah, but I preferred the Slater Gator v Adam Rose feud. I thought that was an awesome feud. And then, the Luchadors healed. Let's go back to the bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of did that, but it was still kind of cool, because I'm saying Hornswoggle versus the little bull, it's kind of hilarious, and some of the stuff from it has been good, like him tying him down like you do an alligator.
Now, come on, they had to get this match on there so they could set up for the big Hell in a Cell triple threat match between the Gator, El Torito, and the Bunny.
I will say, it's kind of cool that they gave Hornswoggle the finishing move of the Gator roll.
Yep. But moving on.
Moving on.
Rusev Crush!
Yes, so next we have basically WWE playing fake politics.
Fair warning, if you didn't see Raw and you're listening to this podcast in the background, this is the part you want to pay attention to.
Yes. So
What,
basically,
so the rest of what Marcus said isn't worth paying attention to? That's just harsh.
remember, Jim
well,
has
that-
invalidation plus 10.
Yeah, we're validating Richter tonight. We have to make up for it by invalidating someone else, and Marcus was the obvious choice.
I disagree with that one.
You're going to invalidate the guy who's hosting the segment. Yeah, brilliant, Jim.
I would say the main event and news guy would be the obvious choice.
Ha.
I would concur with that. But yes, so here's the setup for this. Basically, for those who are unaware of what happened on the previous Raw, go watch our WXR from last week. But yes, Big Show pulled down the Russian flag, and so I guess it sparked an international incident or some shit. And so WWE and Big Show had to, go apologize to the Russians and stuff, which is fair enough. And so the setup for this week is that as his punishment, Big Show is forced to sit backstage and watch and listen to Rusev and Lana bitch at him.
I'd like to interject here that it was noted on the LOL dirt sheets that said apology was part of the storyline, And that, well, a couple of Russian media outlets picked it up. They didn't really run with it that much. But then in Russia, Rusev and Lana are pushed as huge baby faces on the Russian language version of Raw. But yeah, that whole thing was part of the storyline.
So basically, basically Rusev is the Russian version of the Great Khali.
Something like that, yeah.
Fair enough. So, now that we have that out of the way, Rusev and Lana come to the ring. You know, their entrance, skipping that. They get in the ring. They start talking about what happened, and Big Show sucks, and America sucks, blah, 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 anti-America, pro-Russia. You get the idea. It's what they do every week. So,
also, they spend the next a few minutes calling out the Big Show.
Oh, I was going to get to that.
Okay. I thought you were going to be arguing for the good part. Sorry.
No. So at the end of the and Rusev actually talks for once. He gets the mic and actually talks for a solid, like, how long was it? Like 3 to 5 minutes? He actually cut a promo. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. He's actually talking. What the hell?
Well, according to my notes, it was exactly 3.45. I don't know. I didn't time it, but yes, it was a long time.
Yeah.
So he actually
We didn't have a little counter in the corner.
Yeah.
Ha!
There's a lot of superstars who are that way, and they just play it up on TV. For example, it's been noted in interviews of people that the Great Khali actually speaks perfect English. He just plays up the thing on TV.
Oh, wow.
Fair enough. But yeah, so Rusev actually cut a pretty good promo in his broken Russian English, as per character. And at the end of it, he's basically like, "Come on, the Big Show. Why don't you come down here? Show me what kind of man you are. I will crush you." Stuff like that.
I would actually argue it wasn't broken English, it was English with an accent.
Fair enough.
Broken English would be like, I don't know, look at someone's Facebook with like, lol.
Fair enough. But yeah, so he tries to get the Big Show to come out, knowing full well Big Show can't come out as per, quote, political rules, unquote. And then something
So what
happened.
you're saying is, for political correctness, WWE won't allow a superstar to come out? That seems anti-political correctness.
You would think so.
Nice.
But yes, then the thing that had both Mole and I going, the fuck? Because it really wasn't expected. I guess some lol dirt sheets kind of halfway expected it. But, we're expecting, okay, someone's going to come out to shut Rusev up or, get owned by Rusev. And it took me a moment because I heard the music, but the music didn't register until I saw the Titantron. Because the next thing I heard was, "If you smell what the Rock is cooking."
Wait, you didn't recognize the music? That's the start of his music.
I know. I heard it, and it took me a moment to register whose music that was. I was like, wait, that music sounds familiar. Because I didn't think Rock would actually be there, because he wasn't expected to be there, for obvious reasons. Because they didn't expect him to be in New York. But, yeah, the music hit, and then I was like, who is that? And then I saw the Titantron. I was like, wait, no, he's not coming out. He can't come out. He's not there. And then The Rock walks out from the back. And I'm just like, what is he doing there? Okay, yeah, Rusev's fucked. Because apparently, as the story goes, Rock was in town to sign big money contracts to play Black Adam. That's why he was in New York.
Yeah, he was meeting with Time Warner.
And so WWE was like, "Hey, Dwayne, you're in New York. Yeah? Can you come down here and do something for us?" "Sure. I have time. I ain't doing nothing. I'm on vacation."
That's not cool.
So
Jim's always in New York. How come they never phone him?
Because they want someone interesting that's going to bring them ratings.
They do.
And
He
they chose
chose
The
the
Rock?
phone.
But yeah, so The Rock comes out, rare form. As Mole pointed out, one of his best promos in the recent few years here. And basically rips Rusev and Lana a new one.
I didn't use those words.
I thought you said it was one of his best promos in a while.
No, I said I like that promo. Then you said that's one of his best promos in a while, because as much as you liked the Cena Rock feud, you thought those promos were weak, and I said I liked the Rock Cena stuff more.
Fair enough. I thought you agreed that it was some of his better work.
But if we're allowed to start doing that, where we can quote what we've said as other people have said, Marcus Shadow said Marcus Shadow killed celebrities.
Oh, fuck you.
Confession.
But no, I liked his stuff with Cena. I don't know, like, that stuff felt more storyline, whereas this one felt more like The Rock, if that makes sense.
See, ironically, I'd go the other way. This felt more storyline, because we know Lana and Rusev aren't really Russian, per se.
Right.
And it's like, and it's like with The Rock, Cena stuff, they were taking jabs at each other's personal lives. That felt real.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I meant by storyline is it felt more like it was written for him as opposed to feeling and sounding like him, if that makes sense.
Yep. I will say I did make the joke when The Rock was on there talking, Rick.
Uh-huh.
I said to Marcus, now, is it just me, or after the Cena bit, can you, whenever The Rock speaks, can you not stop staring at his wrists?
And my reply was, well, now that you mentioned that, no, I can't stop staring at his wrists.
My work here is done.
Yeah.
Quick,
But
Jim.
yeah.
Interrupt Marcus with, well, according to The Rock's wrist, and then start reading his wrist. No.
What did Rock call Lana that basically was trending the rest of the night?
He basically said, Lana, you are in person incredibly hot. You are incredibly beautiful. I mean, you are a bombshell. Granted, you look like you're Russian streetwalker, but you're beautiful.
Russian streetwalker, that's right. And wow, Mole, your voice got nasally and less interesting all of a sudden.
That's my superpower. It's while I'm basically charging up the energy to validate Rick.
Fair enough. But yeah,
My
so
validation
hashtag
level's
Russian.
low.
There you go. But hashtag Russian Streetwalker basically trended the whole night, which, as we'll get to in a little bit, was incredibly stupid. Not that was normally would have been a bad thing, but given the night, yeah.
I'm sorry, I apologize. That was Soviet Streetwalker, apparently.
Soviet Streetwalker.
Yep, which I'll go into after the end of this promo, because I mentioned it to Marcus.
Yeah. He also mentioned she needed to stop walking around like she had a Smirnoff bottle shoved up her Putin.
I missed that one.
That was after Russo grabbed the mic and told him he was going to crush you, and The Rock said that his breath smelled like Chewbacca's hairy beanbag.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but of course The Rock did his classic, who in the blue hell do you think you are? It doesn't matter what you think. Like, it was vintage Rock, which I thought was kind of cool, and he has not missed a step, and he's been working out, because good God, his arms are huge. What the fuck? Like, now, Hogan's got nothing on The Rock. Holy crap. But I guess he's been bulking up for Black Adam, because Black Adam is supposed to be a pretty burly dude.
I'd like to point out he just got done playing fucking Hercules.
This is true, too. Good point.
He was fucking Hercules?
It was a couple months ago, though. They broke up.
Yes, but then The Rock proceeded to layeth the smackdown on Rusev's Russian Rudy Poo candy ass.
Rudy Poo.
Yeah, and should also mention that The Rock pointed out to them saying that, nobody else is very willing to tell them this, so he's going to just lay it out right now and tell them. Nobody hates them because they happen to be Russian. They hate them because they're a couple of international a-holes.
I'd strongly disagree with that.
Yeah.
Based on Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah.
This is true. But yeah, The Rock basically just does his punch combo with the spit hand, knocks Rusev out of the ring, Rock's music hits, end of segment.
It should be noted that according to the dirt sheets, that was as much as they wanted The Rock to do to Rusev. They didn't want a rock bottom or a people's elbow or anything because they did not want Rusev to look weak.
Right. Also, I will mention, and I'm assuming the crowd did this of their own accord, probably because they didn't expect Rock to be there, but immediately as he hit the ring and picked up the mic, before he could say anything, they broke into a loud-ass chant of, "Holy shit! Holy shit!"
Yep.
Which they followed up with, "This is awesome."
Yep. And when they were chanting "Holy shit," Rocky just kind of looked at them, kind of grinned and laughed.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of awesome.
I will say my problems with this segment now, since the segment's over. My main problems were twofold. One, The Rock basically beat the hell out of Rusev and he left the ring and stuff with his tail between his legs. That made Rusev look extremely weak, in my opinion, if The Rock and him don't have a feud. It's like, what the hell have you done besides ruin Rusev? Great move. The other bad thing I had with this, Rick, on a night in which they're praising breast cancer awareness and they have the people from the foundation, the number one thing that people remember from Raw is The Rock. The number one thing that trended was The Rock. basically cancer got buried by The Rock. I disagree with that. I strongly. It should have been like the next week on Raw or something. You know what I mean? Or they should have made the cancer bit the next week if they had The Rock or done something.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have had the two because as a result, it's like the message of Raw has been. You've put the breast cancer stuff on the worst segment, and then you made The Rock. Yeah, people aren't going to remember it. Great job on getting awareness for that.
They should have sent The Rock out in a pink T-shirt.
That's
Except
my third
that there
problem.
Except that there was a second one, which I thought we were going to wait until we got to that point to talk about that, because there was actually another breast cancer awareness segment that came out that was better, but because of the first segment, the second segment was kind of got buried beneath that and The Rock, because the first one was so bad, no one cared.
Yeah, but the other thing was with The Rock was he didn't. I didn't notice a pink ribbon on him or any pink for breast cancer awareness. What the fuck? So the biggest star on Raw didn't do anything for the breast cancer awareness on your breast cancer awareness show. Yeah, unless he's there next week, this is complete bullshit in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, based on what you said happened on SmackDown, at least what you told me happened on SmackDown. I don't remember if you mentioned it on the Oh, well, you're not going to haven't recapped yet, but based on what you told me happened on SmackDown, it seems like they might be actually trying to run this as a feud between Rusev and The Rock.
They may be, but it's also worth noting that there is something to do with The Rock on SmackDown, and it was filmed after Raw. He's not shown on SmackDown. It was just filmed after Raw, and yeah, it looks like he's disappeared. So, yay.
Well,
He's walking around waving his hand in front of his face like Cena.
Yes, he's always there.
It should also be mentioned here that The Rock did come out and give props to all 5 boroughs of New York, which is pretty cool. As well as threw out a tribute to the Captain Derek Jeter.
Fair enough.
But what did Jim think about what I said?
You make a valid point, and you are right. I think Rusev could come back from The Rock knocking him out of the ring, because you can just say, oh, The Rock got a lucky shot on me. But, yeah, the whole kind of burying the breast cancer thing was not good. I didn't think about that until you brought it up, but you're absolutely right on that front.
Yeah, I didn't like that bit. But the Rusev thing was not only Rusev. It's like I mentioned to Marcus, no one else who's gone against Rusev has put up that quick an offense to make Rusev run with his tail between his legs. So it's making every superstar that goes against him look weak. The closest to it was Mark Henry, and even he took longer. But moving on, I believe.
Indeed.
Yep, so that brings us to our second Divas match of the night. Paige and Alicia Fox versus AJ Lee and her partner, Emma. In which Paige and Alicia Fox win because AJ Lee is like, fuck this, and leaves.
Yep.
So, yeah, not sure what to make of AJ. She's supposed to be face, is she supposed to be heel? What the fuck?
She's face, but she's got a crazy gimmick. It's like how Eddie Guerrero was a face, but would cheat. That doesn't mean he's a heel. AJ's a face, but she's crazy, so you don't know what she's going to do. Same thing with Dean Ambrose and stuff. So, Dean Ambrose walked out on Cena tonight. Yeah, you could argue Cena did that to him before, but either way, they're both faces. But it's allowed because, yeah, based on the situation and the storyline. So AJ's is, she's crazy. What the hell is she going to do next?
I don't know, I didn't like the fact that she just kind of walked out in the middle of the match, and I'm like, I'm supposed to buy her as a face? Really?
Yes.
Fair enough. Jim, any opinions?
You kind of knew as soon as Emma came out, AJ was happy with it. What was probably going to happen. I mean, it was kind of a given.
Mm-hmm.
I think, any thoughts on whether or not she's heel or face?
I think she's supposed to be so similar to face because the idea they're running with is that Paige is the heel who's now teaming up with Alicia, leaving AJ with no friends, and I think AJ is going to start going through having a random new partner each week as a quote unquote friend to see if it works out. It'll keep not working out, and inevitably AJ will find somebody to be her friend.
When Tamina returns.
When Tamina returns, perfect.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Heidenreich.
Ha!
Ah,
Nice.
No, they can't bring Heinrich in. Michael Cole has a restraining order.
or, and depends on how long they're going to, string this out to. I think it'd be genius. It would also depend if she's coming up. But I think it'd be awesome if the one time it worked, it's like, all right, so who's my partner going to be this time? And you just hear, woo!
Bow, 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 bow.
And then Charlotte comes out. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, Charlotte has been talking a lot of crap about coming for AJ's Divas title on Twitter, so it does sound like they're getting ready to bring her up.
I will say I hope not.
Think it's too soon.
It's not necessarily that it's too soon. I mean, she could do it, but the wrestling with the Divas on Raw is not the same caliber as it is on NXT. It seems like a really waste of Charlotte to put her on Raw because that's all the idiots watch. It's like, no, put her on the wrestling show so she can debut her wrestling, and if people like wrestling, they watch the wrestling show. If you want to see Divas do stuff like arm wrestling and skip around the ring, you watch Raw.
Am I the only one who just think you might think they need to call up Bailey and make her Emma's tag team partner?
God.
They need to repackage Emma.
Yes, they do. I never liked Emma, the character. I thought this character was fucking stupid.
It's kind of stupid.
But
because
like
of the character, I don't actually get to see her wrestle. I want to actually see her wrestle because I heard she's supposed to actually be good. But of course, WWE never lets their divas actually fucking wrestle.
NXT, they do. Hence why I was on about keeping Charlotte on NXT, because on NXT, she's basically the queen of wrestling, and that works. If they bring her onto Raw, I feel that's going to waste her. It's like I love seeing Natalia wrestle on NXT and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's great. You got a show for wrestling. I like that.
So I feel like I think they could make it work if they call Charlotte up and act like she's the next Beth Phoenix. I think that could work.
But she's not a powerhouse.
No, but more like she's the diva in terms of her technical and wrestling ability as opposed to her power.
So the Natalia.
You could say that.
Beth was the power. Natalia was the technical.
True.
And they wasted both of them.
Yeah, and they wasted both of them. That's why I don't want to see her go to the main roster because I know what'll happen. Give it a year or two, and she'll be jobbed out to AJ via roll-ups and shit.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that either. But anyway, so that brings us to Miz versus Sheamus, where Miz wins via roll-up after Mizdow takes a brogue kick to the face. So yes, I'm thinking they're building up to a Miz v Sheamus for the title match. Probably, I'm going to predict and say probably at Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm. It's also interesting to note that the announcers went out of their way to point out how much Damien Sandow was over with the crowd as opposed to the Miz, who was not.
Yeah, it should also be worth noting though the crowd wasn't good this week.
That was a New York City crowd. They were decent. They're better than most crowds.
I'd argue the opposite, because while most crowds would be, as people would put it, marks, therefore they cheer for the people they're supposed to and they boo the people they're supposed to. This one seemed like the smart audience, like a lot of faces they were deliberately booing because they were face and cheering the heels, and as much as that's kind of funny, it gets old fast, if that makes sense. It kind of hurts the show.
Fair enough. That's because there's a few audiences that the thing about it is it's true. But the thing is, that's always happened in WWE throughout the entire longevity. People came and cheered for the people they liked, and they booed the people they didn't, regardless of who those people were supposed to be in the show. That's why WWE and a lot of WWE fans like crowds in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and LA, because those crowds will go out of their way to not give a crap what they're supposed to like and what they're supposed to hate. They're just going to do what they want, what they do like, and they do hate.
No,
They make sure WWE knows this is what we support, this is what we don't support.
again, I have no problem with liking what you're not supposed to like or whatever, which is kind of cool. It's like, say Jericho was a heel, I'd still cheer him.
Agreed.
And just like you would, but basically, when it came to this crowd, it wasn't that they were cheering for who they liked and who they didn't. It's the same thing with a lot of the Smarks crowd. They just cheer for who they say they're not supposed to. And that's as stupid as just cheering for who you're supposed to, if not worse, because that just makes you all look like whiny teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh,
I
it's
have to
cool
agree
to, it's
with
cool to, it's cool to boo, it's cool to cheer every heel, it's cool to boo every face. It's like, come on, get the hell over that.
Is it cool to chant the commentators' names during the Shitty Divas match?
See, that's not cool because that just buries the females. Case in point. And none of the Divas matches were shitty during this.
No, this wasn't this week. This was in Chicago a couple weeks ago. They did that.
Yeah, and that wasn't that shitty. It's just a case that they do that because they think it's funny. It's like Sheamus, Randy Orton after WrestleMania were putting on a pretty good match, in my opinion, a pretty good match, and the crowd just started to chant like Randy Savage and all this other stuff because they were trying to be edgy and cool, and I don't like that. That just seems pathetic.
Fair enough. Before we move on to the next segment here, I would like to point out that we've glossed over a couple of our recurring segments tonight, and that's recurring vignettes starring the Wyatt family.
Yes, they had more vignettes.
Yes, they have vignettes featuring the first vignette of the evening featured Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt talking about how he's going to be set free and he will stand on his own, etc., etc. The second vignette, which aired right before the Miz Sheamus match here, was a similar vignette but focused on Eric Rowan, who Bray Wyatt said is also set free.
And based on what you just said, am I right in assuming you're deliberately reading the results of Raw just to pick it out if Marcus leaves anything out?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of dickish. Let him have his segment.
Fair enough. I just want to make sure we cover all the cool stuff that happened on Raw that I remember liking.
But you didn't remember if you read it.
But no, that's fair enough. The Wyatts had a few vignettes. Didn't Bray also have a solo promo / vignette?
I think he did, yeah.
He's going solo.
Nice, Rick.
Thank you.
Or was that on SmackDown, the one you're thinking of, Mole?
What?
Mo didn't say anything.
Stop accusing Noel. You were the one that said that then. Stop doing that.
Fine, I'm just going to outright mention it then. I thought you were the one that mentioned the whole Sting thing.
I said from one of the private. Not from one of the private, from one of the past ones they mentioned that. A few weeks back,
past
like the
I
first
thought-
one.
Okay, I thought it was from one of the ones that aired this week sometime.
No. Sorry, I thought you were about that segment because you go,
No.
yeah. Unless wait, was that the one on SmackDown? And then you go, Mole, is it the one on SmackDown you're thinking of? I'm like, I didn't say anything.
Well, I thought when we were talking about it earlier, I thought you mentioned it was one of the ones this week.
No, it was one of the past ones where they mentioned a scorpion and shit.
Fair enough.
Seems silly.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we move into the segment that kind of made us go, okay, yeah, Rock just kind of screwed everything. Because they had Joan London come out to talk about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness because she is currently battling breast cancer. And it was actually a very good segment. It was very touching, very emotional. And Cena came out at the end because Cena, and tipped his hat to her and escorted her backstage. So it was all in all a very good segment that got promptly buried, was buried by The Rock because that never really trended.
Yep, which I will say that's exactly what they were supposed to do. They should have had Cena do that, like when Cena comes out with the big face, get him to come out and mention the segment. That works, it gets it awareness. Hell, they could have even had The Rock come out during the same segment instead of during the Rusev bit in Pink and have The Rock talk about the breast cancer awareness. That would have been so much more better.
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't even have a ribbon. Because fuck The Rock. In this instant.
Mhm.
I say in this instance, is that they've all made mistakes. I mean, I still like The Rock. It's just kind of, it was just this night. This night was a bad thing.
Yep.
That and Doom. Well, he was awesome as Cliff Jumper.
For the 5 minutes.
It was a damn good 5 minutes. Goddamn, it was gripping. People will go out and buy special released extended cuts of DVDs extended by less time than that, and they say that changes the tone of the film. Therefore, that 5 minutes was crucial to the overarching plot of Prime.
In some ways, it was. Well, not
It
over, but like character arcs, definitely.
And it was crucial to the overarching plot of Prime, but not because of The Rock, just because of what they did to his corpse.
Yeah.
But we digress. Time to transform back to Marcus.
All right. And that takes us to the main event.
Gym segment.
John Cena getting his ass kicked by Randy Orton, Kane, and Rollins. And yes, he did actually get his ass kicked. Like, Cena did not Super Cena out of this. Then, although he went, did he win or did he lose? I think he won. Was it one?
He lost by. Didn't he lose by DQ?
He won by DQ.
He won by DQ.
Because they started ganging up on him. And then Dean Ambrose returns to the ring
Oh god.
riding a hot dog cart. Yeah, that's right. He, as WWE put it, he weaponized a hot dog cart.
Yeah.
He weaponized.
Yeah.
Yeah, he basically ran people over, sprayed Orton with mustard, was it Kane he sprayed with ketchup?
Yes, that's why I kept making jokes that Kane was bleeding.
Yeah. After he sprayed Kane with the ketchup, Mole was like, "Kane's donned a crimson mask."
Mm-hmm.
And he just proceeded to beat the shit out of him, helping Cena, whatever, is generally beating the shit out of him. They turned tail and ran, and Triple H and Steph came out, and were like, Triple H was like, "So, you guys want to see John Cena and Dean Ambrose get their hands on Seth Rollins? Well, you're gonna get it. At Hell in a Cell, it will be John Cena versus Dean Ambrose, and the winner gets Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell."
Yep. Seth Rollins is now a title.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait for TLC where he's suspended above the ring.
Indeed.
So whoever wins that match is probably going to lose to Rollins because they will have already gone through one match. So yeah,
Or they might actually win it.
maybe.
They could do something hilarious, which they won't.
What's that?
Finger poke of doom. It turns out this was all a setup by Ambrose to finger poke Cena 1, 2, 3 and be fresh and get his match with Seth Rollins.
That would be amazing.
That'd be awesome.
It won't happen though.
It
So
should
can I
be.
point out the stupidness with this segment?
Sure.
Okay.
We're supposed to believe Dean Ambrose, on foot, went into a train, went over to Coney Island, stole a hot dog cart because they said it was from Coney Island, didn't get arrested as he, on foot, wheeled it back onto the train, took it all the way back to the arena, still not arrested, got into the arena, past security, still not arrested, managed to go past the security to get through into the main ramp, still not arrested, and then used it as a weapon.
Yes.
Okay. It just seems stupid. It seems stupid. It's like, where's the logic? But I'll let Jim say what he'll say. I can still hear you. I'm just going to go pee.
Well, two things. Number one, in all fairness, Austin got a beer truck and Kurt Angle a milk truck through security.
Yes, but they didn't. It was never implied that they went on the train through all this public place, walking, pushing it. If Austin pushed the beer truck, what the fuck? Austin drove it, so it was believable that the police wouldn't have been able to stop him because he would have just drove through them.
Well, in all fairness, you don't know that Ambrose pushed the cart back on the train. We saw last week he has a penchant for having conveniently placed cab drivers.
That he doesn't pay.
And he doesn't pay, exactly. But the other thing I was going to mention is let us not forget that to end this segment, as Cena turned around, Dean Ambrose proceeded to hit him with his finisher, the name of which I can never seem to remember.
Dirty Deeds.
That's the one, Dirty Deeds. Thank you.
But are they done dirt cheap?
Ah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
That was wrong.
That was Raw. Overall, it wasn't a bad Raw, to be fair. Although part of it felt like last minute. What the hell?
Fair enough.
Like the Rock thing.
hmm
Shouldn't that logically, if it was Big Show backstage, shouldn't he gone to one of his friends like Mark Henry?
Mark Henry's kind of not a face at the moment, if you haven't noticed.
He seems to be a face that's just losing it, but yeah. Fair enough. Back to our host.
All right, so that was Raw, and now, special treat, we go on to SmackDown.
Whoop. Which, I won't put a note here, first of all, I didn't put everything that happened on SmackDown down. I just wrote the bits that interest me, that's what I was told we were supposed to be doing, but yeah. First of all, we kick off SmackDown, which is the SmackDown 15th show, with, in my opinion, one of the best openings in years.
hmm
Stephanie comes out, and they mentioned she was the first GM ever of SmackDown. And she comes out, and she sort of talks about the man who coined the term SmackDown. You may remember him. He's the same guy that lost to my husband on the first episode of SmackDown, The Rock. And then the Titantron cuts with people power, and out comes John Laurinaitis.
Wow.
Okay, then.
Did he have
And
a
John
scooter?
No, he just walked out waving because he was also a GM of SmackDown. He mentions, I researched by, this bit just amused me, I researched by watching the WWE Network. And Stephanie goes, well, I guess it's proof that any idiot can use the network. And he goes, it is, thank you. And then carries on talking. That was, she's just grinning. And I'm like, that's hilarious. He's so clueless. Then Teddy Long returned.
Did he make a tag team match player?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
John Laurinaitis beats him to it and makes a tag team match. Teddy Long says no, and blah, 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 blah. He then decides to up and beat John Laurinaitis by making a six-man tag. Remember a six-man tag, one that was featured on Raw? Laurinaitis says, we can beat that, and he makes a 10-man tag team.
Survivor Series match?
Then Teddy Long says, to celebrate the 15th of SmackDown, they're going to make it a 15-man tag team match.
Wouldn't they make even teams?
No, because it will be Cesaro, Bo Dallas, The Miz, Golden Stardust, Mini Gator, and Slater Gator versus Sheamus, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, The Usos, Los Matadors, and El Torito, and Tito Santina.
Ah.
Which, it was kind of funny, and they went through and they changed Tito Santina because he wasn't going to be there. And basically, the joke was, it's seven, because as Theodore Long said, 7 man and a little bull, and 7 man and a gator equals 15 men, because it's 7.5.
He's not wrong.
And Stephanie says she likes it and adds Teddy and Johnny as captains, with the winner being marked as the greatest GM of all time for SmackDown.
As Vicky Guerrero sits home and cries.
Hey, she wasn't the best GM. The best GM was Kurt Angle, but yeah. Adam Rose then interrupts. What's a party without Adam Rose? Come on, Steffi. Don't be a lemon. be a Rosebud. And she goes, you're right. We need a party with Adam Rose. So I'm going to make an Adam Rose segment. You're in a match next against Kane. And then Stephanie goes, now hit his music. And as the whoa, 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 whoa plays, she starts to dance, mocking him, then gets Teddy Long to join in. And then John Laurinaitis joins in as the three of them dance as Adam Rose. Like, this isn't, it's just looking on like, this isn't that funny. Then Kane comes out and says, I'm not a cheeseburger or a bunny. I'm not a lemon or a rosebud. In the past, I've been a demon. Tonight, I'm the party pooper. I don't know why. It was delivered wonderful. It's a stupid line, but that's hilarious when Kane says it. Kane wins by giving Adam Rose Kane wins and gives Adam Rose his first loss in WWE, and he wins cleanly. Kane then goes back into the ring afterwards and destroys all the Rosebuds one by one, except for the bunny, who has a dramatic stare down with Kane of sorts. Then the bunny leaves and backs away. I don't know.
Okay, then.
But that was the opening segment.
So Bunny v Kane is the new feud?
Yeah. But
Okay,
what do you guys think of that for an opening segment?
That
Sounded
sounded highly entertaining.
It was. But then, I do have something which is kind of hilarious.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right after the segment, they showed the image for the 15-man matchup. Remember when they said The Miz? The picture is Sandow. As if The Miz couldn't be asked being there to take his own photo for these superstar images. It's now Sandow. I was like, that's kind of funny. And they didn't even comment on it either. They just let it there. It's like a subtle little joke, or if you noticed it, it's kind of funny.
Nice.
We then have AJ Lee versus Alicia Fox. The match ends with AJ winning, basically. Paige, who came out during the matchup, comes into the ring, and AJ overcomes by basically fighting both off and throws Alicia Fox into Paige and walks off grinning with her title. So that happened.
Nice.
Okay.
Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston.
Poor Kofi.
Rollins did win, but I will say it was actually a pretty good match. It was quick, but it was pretty good. Rusev then comes out with Ziggler. Comes out to fight Ziggler. It's Rusev versus Ziggler, and Rusev wins. Pretty bad match, in my opinion, because of Ziggler, but it was a kind of a good one as well. But Lana then insults The Rock. Rusev says The Rock will pay and challenges The Big Show to a match next week on Raw.
Okay.
We then cut to a video after Raw of Triple H and Stephanie talking, and in comes The Rock. And they made a note of this was after Raw. And The Rock starts to talk about SmackDown and how he had fond memories of it. They have back and forth with Triple H and The Rock have a back and forth like pissing contest between each other, as Triple H's like, yeah, well, I cleanly beat you on the first night of Raw. And The Rock's like, no, HBK beat me by super kicking me and you just capitalized. And then The Rock's like, but I beat you the next night. And Triple H's like, but no, I didn't actually lose then. You're probably thinking of Road Dogg. Which is kind of funny, and they just go back and forth. They then throw out a WrestleMania challenge. The Rock v Triple H at WrestleMania. Then they do agree not to fight each other and go off to have something to eat. And Triple H sort of laughs and asks the question, The Rock's like a big superstar making billions of dollars. Why am I paying for lunch? Because The Rock mentioned he was going to pay for it. And The Rock mentions, I can hear you. Hurry up. Hilarious. I know Jim's seen that bit, so.
Yeah, it's like, The Rock comes walks out of the room and goes, "So let's do something to eat. You can pay, you cheap bastard." And then as he walks out, Triple H is like, "Wait, how many $1 million movies has he had just this year? Why can't he pay? I heard that. Come on."
Yep. But what did you think of the segment, Jim?
That was a great segment. I like that.
Hey, I like that. I think The Rock should have actually been there for SmackDown. I mean, come on,
that would have been nice.
It's the one he used to claim was The Rock's show.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning out of those matches, out of those team ones, just because people are wondering after this bit, Team Teddy wins. It was an okay match, but still, it was a giant 15-man tag match. And Teddy and the faces all raise up Teddy Long as they celebrate.
Nice.
And we then have the main event, or the main segment of SmackDown.
Before you go, I guess I'm kind of shocked that went through that way. Because as Teddy Long was being raised up as quote-unquote greatest GM, I really expected Stephanie to walk out and be like, yeah, that was just a joke. 'Cause everybody knows I was the greatest GM because I was the first.
You
I
forgot
think
about your other match.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was just a case of Stephanie didn't really care because she's beyond the GM.
True.
She's like a principal owner, so she's like just glossing over the fact she was GM.
Well, she mentioned
And,
it during the Rock Triple H segment. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
Did, and she mentioned it during, and they mentioned it during this. It was just they just let Teddy v that because it worked. But then we have the main event of the night, which was pretty awesome. Miz TV with Dean Ambrose and John Cena, where they were going to discuss what happened on Raw.
Oh dear.
Okay.
And at the end, when John Cena goes to walk away, Miz is basically like, "This is not how this works. You don't understand it. I stirred the pot. This is my show. I stirred the pot. You feud with him. You two argued. The crowd eats it up. This is how these talk shows work. You're messing up Miz TV." And then Cena's basically like, "Okay, you're right. They are here to see us fight, but they don't want to see us fight each other. They want to see us fight you." And he lifts up the Miz to do an AA, stops, drops him down, throws him to Dean Ambrose, who hits the Dirty Deeds. And then as Ambrose gets up, boom, AA to Ambrose. As Cena just sits in the Miz's chair, sort of smiling and posing to the crowd. It then cuts to Seth Rollins, who was backstage watching it on TV and laughing. End of SmackDown.
So my question for that big segment becomes, where was Mrs. Stun Double for that segment?
He wasn't there.
The one time he had one job.
Yeah, really.
He did. Yeah, but like I said, the SmackDown 15, it was cool. Instead of clips of Raw and stuff, they had some clips of Raw, but only when it was relevant to what was going on, like Raw does with its own show. Most of it was clips from the past SmackDowns, or I mean, a load of segments, not most of the show, but a load of it was clips from the past SmackDowns, which is kind of cool. My only thing for that is, because we know he's better and stuff, I wanted to see Undertaker. I wanted to see Undertaker or The Rock. One of those two, because The Rock's the one who says SmackDown is his show, and The Undertaker is the one who, in my opinion, SmackDown actually is his show, as he was there for how many fucking years as the main guy on SmackDown. So, you know what I mean? I kind of wanted to see one of those two, and we didn't get it.
I think given that before they kind of merged everything back together, it was his show before he was forced to retire, and given that he was just on the network, I was kind of hoping Edge would show up.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, but like I said, I always consider it Undertaker's show, even though they say it's The Rock's, just because Undertaker was there for so long, more than any other guy, as the main event, it just worked. But I kind of wish we could have seen that. Like, instead of Rusev v Ziggler, they could have recreated the bit on Raw and had basically Lana and Rusev insulting America, and shouldn't have Undertaker come out of a match with Rusev.
There you go.
Not saying to quickly squash him like The Rock did. I'm saying an actual match because, yeah, that would make Rusev look great if he's managing to almost beat The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see it being the bullshit thing of he gets DQ'd, so therefore he's undefeated still, but it would work.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you guys think about what you heard about SmackDown?
Sounds like it was
Sounded
pretty
like a good show.
Yeah. Although I do need to ask one very important question that I need to know about this.
Answer pending.
You said they were showing a lot of clips from past SmackDowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to know, was one of the clips the Billy and Chuck wedding?
I don't think it was.
Damn.
It may have been, I just may have missed that one, but it all seemed to be like clips from SmackDown and stuff. Like, I think they had the part where Edge cashed in on Taker and stuff, which was kind of funny.
Okay, that was good. Yeah, that deserves it.
But it was pretty cool.
Yeah, good.
Back to our host. Our lovely, lovely host.
Well, thank you. So after SmackDown, we are going to main event with Jim.
Indeed.
That nobody saw.
Pretty much. We're just going to cover it quickly. I should point out here, I want to point out one of the new. I'm not entirely sure. I wanted to ask Marcus this for the Raw thing, and I didn't get a chance before he went into SmackDown. Dolph Ziggler had a match on Raw, correct?
Um,
I believe he
Yeah.
had a match.
he was in the tag match.
Right. Okay. Did he have his title with him?
I would assume so, since he said Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, I wasn't sure because it was very, and I don't know if he had it here on Main Event either, given that was the following night. But it's well referenced that on the way to New York to the arena Monday night, the airline lost Dolph Ziggler's luggage, which had the title in it.
Oh, okay, maybe he didn't then. I don't remember.
And,
But if he did, they may have just done what they'd done in the past.
Get another one.
Do you remember when they lost all the titles temporarily because they were in somewhere else and they couldn't bring them over? So they just used one of the replica titles. Yeah, it looks a little cheaper, but some people couldn't tell the difference unless you look really close. So they could have done that.
Yeah, because Dolph Ziggler sent out several hilarious tweets in regards to his missing title, about trying to cover his ass for Monday night, including let's see here, this is from the newsletter, but I'll mention it now because it's relevant. Hope at United gets me my bag for #Raw. Anyone in Brooklyn sell replica intercontinental titles? Asking for a friend. At Vince McMahon, holograms are so in. Michael Jackson, Tupac, etc. #Raw should do that with the intercontinental title tonight. Oh, that was kind of funny. And it was he tweeted later that as of I don't know about as of now, but as of Wednesday, that he still had not gotten his luggage back from the airline.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, I mentioned that because we're going to open up Main Event with Dolph Ziggler defeating Bo Dallas in an Intercontinental title match. Okay, so I guess he must have given a replica to carry out for the title match. So that happened. Dallas argued with the referee about a 2 count that he got while holding the ropes, which led Ziggler hit him with a zigzag from behind to get the win. Sounds like it was a pretty good match. Again, nobody saw it. We have to see the footage of Kathy Lee and Hoda partying with Adam Rose from Raw the night before. Tyson Kidd confronts Kane again, tells him he's more than just Natty's husband, and Kane laughs at him and says, "You're gonna fight Jack Swagger tonight." Let's see. Nikki Bella versus Brie Bella, and apparently that got upped, and Cameron, Layla, Summer Rae, and Nikki Bella defeated Brie Bella in a 4-on-1 handicap match. After hitting Brie with whoever won hit Brie with a running knee to the face and the torture rack drop. I'm not sure which of the divas does that.
That's Nikki. The torture rack drop is Nikki's finishing move.
Okay, so the Nikki's the one that beat Brie. So we see Jack Swagger walking in the ring with Zeb Coulter, and we notice Swagger has a very bad black eye.
And we'll say, there you go, Marcus.
What?
You wanted them to do a matchup with Brie where she didn't always overcome the odds and win it.
There you go.
Fair enough.
You got it. So Tyson Kidd defeated Jack Swagger with a modified roll-up, because that's the only way Tyson Kidd can apparently win anything anymore. Unfortunately. We had another video package of the main feud from Raw, and then in the final match of the night, we had a one-on match between Jey Uso and Stardust, which Jey Uso won after, shock of shocks, a super kick to the face and a top rope splash.
Yep, and I will say, roll-ups, they work for heels or underdogs. I don't mind that. I just don't like it when the face does it all the time. I mean, let's not forget, one of some people's favourite wrestlers of all time started doing a roll-up. I refer to X-Pac.
True.
Because he was the Kid and then defeated Razor Ramon with 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, the Kid wins! And he runs off and becomes the 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Nice.
You can relive that on WWE.com or on the network for just $9.99. Yeah.
Exactly. Booyah. That was
Nice.
good. Anyway,
Or buy a time machine for just $99 plus postage.
Fair enough.
right then. So should I just go right into the news? Do we have anything else left?
I think that's it. You can go for the news.
Going for the
Hang on,
news.
No, let Rick introduce the news.
Okay.
He's the host. Marcus Tuts when.
But does anybody have any thoughts on what happened on main event there?
Sounds pretty cool.
That sounded interesting.
Yeah, that's a couple of decent matches. Tyson Kidd versus Jack Swagger was, I'm sure, a decent match, and Jay Uso over Stardust had to be good, even though we've seen that combination a billion times.
I have to ask, what's the difference now between main event and superstars?
I don't know. Is Superstar still a thing?
I assumed it was. I just saw something to do with it a while back. I
And
assumed
the difference is main event is on TV.
Yeah, pretty much.
it is. I thought it was on the network.
He's got a point.
Okay, well. Fair enough. I don't know if Superstars is still a thing. By the way, it's something we probably should have mentioned at the top of WXR, and it's kind of like the end of it now, but for anyone who cares or is noticing, yeah, we started early today because everybody happened to be here early, so yeah. Just thought I'd throw that out. There's like, oh yeah, if we have any viewers, they might actually be wondering why the hell did they start like 3 hours earlier.
Touche.
Yeah, that's because and WWE Superstars is still a thing. And ironically, Marcus, it's shown on TV.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Yes,
over here, I think it's still a thing because for the same reason a load of other WWE shows are still a thing. Is like NXT is on TV here and stuff is because their contracts internationally may not have expired, so they may have kept Superstars a thing because they have to show Superstars in that slot.
Yeah, it notes right here. The show was canceled and then brought back and then canceled again and then brought back again. The show is still in production for international broadcasting. So it is still a thing.
Fair enough.
Indeed.
Yeah, so it's worth noting in case people are wondering. We record this via Google Hangouts, which occasionally turns on people's cameras during like podcasts and stuff like that. So the reason we normally takes us like another 4 hours or so to start recording is because we normally have to wait for Marcus to like fix his hair and do his makeup and shit in case it accidentally turns on. He's a diva. Looks that
Right,
good
man.
don't just happen.
No, they do not.
I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult. Because on one hand, you're saying I'm actually an attractive guy, but on the other hand, fuck you.
Well, let me put it this way. You don't just roll out of bed with Eric Bischoff hair.
Okay.
Yay! But Rick, news.
Yes, now on to the news and rumors. Brought to you again by James Phoenix.
No news, don't touch that dial.
Indeed. Indeed. Alright, let's see here. Alright,
Well,
so...
Tim's looking that up. Am I the only one who thought for the SmackDown 15th anniversary they should have brought out Funaki as guest announcer?
Yep. I have some news.
Okay, what's your news?
My news was, this was reported on the 2K official forums, and apparently it was said during an interview, which I mentioned to Marcus and you the other night, of apparently when you play My Career mode, and take this with a grain of salt, it might not be true, but if you play My Career mode and you want it to be online, so you will basically enter your friends and they can enter yours, you need to create the save as an online save, in which case if you lose the network or you stop playing for Plus or anything like that, you may not be able to get back onto your My Career mode.
Ugh.
However, you can make it an offline save and not have the option to import people. And you can swap an offline to an online and an online to an offline, but you can only swap once.
So that means, Jim, whenever you play the game, you're gonna have to plug in.
Fair enough.
But to be fair, it just needs some sort of internet, just not because it's not so it basically plays online. It's just so it can read some sort of internet and save and upload the save, which is like a couple of kilobytes. But it's just so everyone can get the latest save and the latest version of each person's My Career save. So
Right.
I understand why they've done this, and I'm not going to rage about it. It seems understandable, and hey, if that's how they want to do it, cool. I'll make an online save.
Fair enough.
I'll probably make an online save as well.
Fair enough. On a related note, It was also mentioned at an event this week that they announced the 2K Showcase Season Pass, which will save you on 20% over the 3 2K Showcase add-on packs, and you will get the exclusive character page.
Yep. It's also worth mentioning with that news, unless you were about to mention it, that they may have changed how the online pass stuff works.
Oh, I didn't know that. Go ahead.
Because
still has one?
it still has one, yeah. Not the online pass, I meant the season pass.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Sorry, my bad. I meant the season pass because instead of characters, you'll now be getting showcases, as Jim mentioned there, which basically, like, I don't know, this isn't one, but let's say you got Triple H versus Kevin Nash when he returned. Nash would be included as one of the characters and all the arenas they fought in and stuff during that feud. That's what people think it is anyway, because that seems to be the only, because there's no announced DLC characters besides Paige. So people think that the DLC characters are tied into the showcase. So you get the showcase and you get the arenas and the characters and the costumes.
Fair enough.
See, I helped with the news this week.
Thank you.
But that was the end of the news.
Ah.
All right, so thanks for.
I would have to also ask, would you also get belts, unlock like title belts with that? Because I'm thinking, what if one of the feuds is like Edge v Cena, and that's how you get Edge, but you also get the rated R belt with him?
That would make sense.
You might be able to get titles, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, because titles they may actually keep unlocked. Because normally, I'm not entirely sure, because titles are usually there, so they've got a shit ton for Universe that people can make any decade they want.
True. By the way, is Edge on the roster? I just kind of pulled that feud out of my ass.
Edge has not been on the roster. That's why when I mentioned it to you, I predicted Edge v Cena was going to be one of them because Edge wasn't on the card.
Okay, I didn't remember you predicted that. I literally just pulled that out of my head.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that feud, and I was like, that they could do that and give us Edge.
Yeah, I predicted that one, and I also predicted another one, but I can't remember what the hell the other one was.
I don't remember.
It was based on someone else not being on the roster.
Yeah.
Batista v
Oh.
Basketball.
I predicted one of them would be Undertaker v Kane because, unlike every other year, there's no vintage masked Kane. Although there is half masked Kane apparently in the feud with. I can't remember if it's the I think it's the Triple H one. Triple H v Shawn Michaels, where there's that version of Kane where he had the half mask and the outfit. But I was thinking full mask Kane with the full like Jason mask but red and black.
Right.
I was thinking Undertaker v Kane to get that, and old school Taker. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to make promises, but that just seemed like a likely one because of all the footage they have for that.
Mm-hmm. It's gotta be Kane. It's gotta be Kane.
It should also be mentioned that you can get all this great DLC for just $25.99.
That kind of doesn't work, Jim. But moving on.
Oh. Anyway, but yes, the
I
DLC.
thought it worked.
Oh, thank you, Mo.
There you go. I'm patronizing you.
Okay.
Continue.
So, anyway, yes, a $25 or $25.99 season pass will be available, and we'll get you all that great DLC. That is, of course, a lot more than DLC has been in the past. I think last year it went up to $14.99 was the highest it had been, having been $10 for many years before that. But given that you're actually getting gameplay and storylines and not just a bunch of dudes and belts, it's probably worth it.
I'm thinking as well they may have jacked the price up for the other reason.
They want money.
Yeah, but they want money for another reason. They built an entire wrestling ring and motion capture studio for this and a lot of other things. They want the game to make as much money as they spent on it because they spent a lot of money improving this. It kind of makes sense to jack the price up. I mean, I'm guessing like the showcase stuff, some of it's probably stuff they could have included, but they've left off for DLC because they want to make more money to basically counteract the fact they've spent shitloads on new technologies and stuff, which is a little dirty, but I can understand it. It gives us a better game.
Yeah, and if that's true, then that's a good thing because it's okay. They're going to recoup their costs this year. Then they've already got everything built, ready to go for next year. All they have to do is scan in the new guides. It'll cost them a lot less money to make the and race with storylines. It'll cost them a lot less money to make the game. so they wanted to charge that kind of extra money for the DLC next time.
Yep, although, let's face it, they're a company first. If they realise, hey, this time, yeah, everyone paid $25.99 for DLC, yeah, they'll do it again. That's how companies think. They're not going to think, oh, we've made our money, let's lower it for the customer. They're going to think, let's do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I pay $30 more.
Well, they probably want to convince people that they can, that they're being nice and they're not trying to overcharge them pending the content. So they might keep it up and drop it from 25 to like 20, just for the sake of, okay, we're still going to get a lot of money out of you, but we're going to make it look like you're saving money over last year, so more people want to buy the DLC.
Yeah, they could do that as well.
I would also like to point out, because I found something out recently, and I don't know if you guys are aware of it, because nobody's mentioned it, but I read an article.
You
about
can read
2K and 2K15.
I was not aware.
Shut up, Mo. But apparently they didn't just build a mocap ring. They built a mobile mocap ring. So they basically have a mobile mocap studio.
Yeah, because they had to bring it to certain venues and arenas to get certain of the guys that couldn't be flown out to their thing because they had to be at shows or whatever.
I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, wow. So it's not only an awesome mocap studio, but it's mobile. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of awesome.
Does it look, as much as I don't like it, I will say, does it look like the Technodrome as it comes down the street? So it's like a big fortress-like thing like that, so it's got the ring in it, or do you reckon they take it apart like they do with actual rings?
They probably take it apart.
It turns into a jet and they fly it there.
Yay!
That'd be awesome.
And it's a James Bond ring?
Yes.
It comes in the air, it decloaks like the shield helicarrier and just lands in front of the arena.
Now, I would ask, is the mobile studio, is it the ring itself is mobile, or is it just the capturing parts they can capture superstars? Because I believe they mentioned in one of the interviews that while some wrestlers, they couldn't get hold of them, they normally do what they normally did. They hire indies to get them to do the moves, and as they do the moves, the commentators react on it and stuff, and they just captured that for the animations, but the scanning of the superstars would be different. I'm not entirely sure. They might have actually gone this year to make sure each superstar does their own moves, which would make them seem a lot more
I think they
accurate.
That would make sense.
I want to see Triple H actually in a studio with like the little lights on him for the motion capture, doing a weird-ass catch pedigree.
Ah.
Oh my god, Jim, maybe that's why Rey Mysterio hasn't been on TV. He motion captioned that accident you did to him.
Yes! Brilliant!
There you go.
But unfortunately, Marcus deleted all our old videos, so now I have to explain this because people aren't going to get this reference.
That's not still up there?
I think you deleted that. I think you deleted that one.
He's deleted it from YouTube. However, it is available on the XPound network for just $9.99.
Nice.
That video was a celebrity, enough said.
Yeah, along with such things as the clip we are queuing.
Indeed. Yeah, these are references that people will not understand if they have not seen those old videos before we deleted them. But yes, the Rey Mysterio, several years ago in the WWE game of that year, I don't remember which one it was, but I was doing a six-man Money in the Bank ladder match, and two of the competitors happened to be my CIW and Rey Mysterio, along with Chris Jericho, Christian, and a few other guys. And I was fighting Rey Mysterio on top of the ladder, threw him off. He glitched through the stairs that Jericho was about to hit Christian with, through the turnbuckle, hit the other stairs, bounced into the air, ragdoll physics, glitched through the ropes, and crash landed on the floor.
Yep. Which, speaking about deleted stuff, I did mention to Marcus, that's something I realised when I watched the SmackDown 15. This is the first SmackDown I got to review for the XPound that didn't feature, because I know it's been deleted, or I think the written one may still be up, Big Zeke. The guy that I just did not like. The guy that was famous for doing power slam, repeat, power slam, repeat, power slam, repeat, power slam, repeat.
Am I the only one that wants to see him now come back and try that on Brock just so Brock can destroy him?
Apparently.
You might be.
Apparently.
But any other news, Jim, in the world of news?
Oh yeah, there's news.
The news sites.
There's news. There's news.
Oh, there's news.
Boy.
That's good. There is news. Good. I didn't need you to be more specific.
Okay, well here we go. Starting off, number one, you might remember former WWE Diva Alundra Blaze or WCW Diva Medusa, whichever name you might remember her by.
Yep, the one who threw the title in the bin. One of the greatest divas of all time.
She did. Apparently, she is evidently in the hospital after an accident at a monster truck show.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
which-
she used to do she used to drive monster trucks. I knew that bit, but that kind of sucks. I liked her.
I did not know she was driving the monster trucks, but that's good to know.
Yeah,
Fair
she
enough.
drives monster trucks, and Luna Vachon, if I remember correctly, was driving buses or something along those lines.
Fair enough. But yes, she was injured, and there's a show in Melbourne, Australia. And she said she will recover soon and plans on attending the Monster Jam's upcoming shows in Adelaide on October 11th and Sydney on October 18th. So she is planning on coming back soon. She's just dealing with some of the stuff in the hospital right now.
See, I understand about throwing the title in the bin. WWE was raged and stuff, but to be fair, Bischoff talked her into that. WWE should bring her back. Come on.
I agree.
And I don't mean it permanently. I just mean for like one of the guest spots when they bring someone back, or hell, bring her back as like a GM or something. I'd watch that.
Bring her back as AJ's friend.
But I will
Anyway.
point out something, which I don't know if people will agree on that. I will say, I can't believe I'm going to go into this, but I believe WWE may be sexist with their returns.
They might. They might.
Because Alondra Blaze threw the title in the bin on WCW because she was told to by Bischoff. She hasn't been welcomed back, at least to my knowledge. China kind of did some bad stuff after Triple H cheated on her and stuff, fair enough, and she ended up going away. They never welcomed China back. Yet Nash and Scott Hall left, went on to WCW, made the NWO, as Hogan lied to WWE and retired, and went to WCW like the next night. Bret Hart spat in the face of Vince McMahon and wrote WCW, logically because Vince screwed him, whichever side you're on, doesn't matter, it happened. All these people, loads of people like Austin walked out of the arena, The Rock's done shit where he'd left and went to Hollywood and stuff. Everyone, they welcome them back with open arms, but when it comes to the females, they don't welcome them back as much.
True. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, strictly speaking, if you think logically, Alundra Blaze caused the Montreal Screwjob. Because if she hadn't dropped the title in the bin, Vince wouldn't have been petrified of Brett doing the same damn thing with the world title, and he might not have done the Screwjob, number one. Number two, China hasn't been welcomed back because WWE, being a PG product, doesn't want to be associated with a woman who's currently famous for doing anal porn.
But she's mentioned herself, if you ever follow her, which you can, she is on Twitter, she's mentioned, she actually has said and sent letters to WWE before she went into the adult porn stuff, saying, look, I will not do porn, I will not do anything like that, I will clean up my act and I will stay PG if you let me come back. And they didn't even answer her.
Ironic.
And while the Alondra Blaze thing may have caused the screw job, still, everyone else involved with the screw job gets forgiven.
True.
It kind of seems a little distasteful, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
I mean, hell, look at Paul Heyman. He was brought back.
That's true.
I like Paul Heyman can be good for wrestling and stuff like that. This isn't an ECW thing.
Yeah.
I'm on about Paul Heyman going on UFC and talk about how wrestling is shit and wrestling is passé. It's no longer the future. Ultimate Fighting is, when it was on Mondays against Raw, guess who got welcomed back? Eric Bischoff, welcomed onto Raw. What the hell? Come on, Vince. Oh, WWE, I know they're not going to listen to this, but come on, bring some of the women back that you've had some bad ties with. Bring them back.
Fair enough. We shall see what happens.
Moving on.
Moving on to the news. If you're interested, if anybody out there, I don't think anybody here applies, but if anybody out there is a fan of the rap music,
Hi, QJ.
you might be interested to know that now, via iTunes, you can go get the new rap album of one Brian Grandmaster Sexy Christopher.
Oh, joy.
Of course, you may know him as the son of one Jerry the King Lawler.
I'm sorry, I jammed you for a second. Did you just say sexy me? No, I'm kidding.
Ah.
It just seemed awesome.
But apparently, and I quote, this CD consists of several hilarious song parodies, plus some great original music. Including on this CD are the songs Going Down, which Brian uses as his ring entrance music currently whenever he wrestles. The song Puppies, featuring Jerry Lawler. The song Memphis Thang, a tribute song written by Brian about classic Memphis wrestling. Plus, Brian's good friend Rikishi makes several cameo appearances on the CD. Brian Christopher not only performs all the songs, but also co-wrote most of them. This CD is a must-have for any wrestling fan. You can download yours today or purchase one through CD Baby or at any wrestling event where Bryan is appearing.
Why hasn't WWE hyped that more? Considering Jerry Lawler's in it, I mean, come on, you can have like Edge appear in Haven, which is meant to be kind of cool, but when he appeared just as a guest, one-off character, they hyped the shit out of it. Do it for that, come on.
You would think.
And Rikishi's in it too.
And Rikishi's in it.
I know Rikishi's in it, but I mentioned Jerry Lawler as he's actually under contract.
True.
So's Rikishi. He's on a Legends contract.
Yeah, I don't think he's on a Legends contract. I think they had him on a one-off appearance at the time he came out and danced with the Usos.
No, I think he is on a Legends contract like Nash is, but they can still work elsewhere if they choose to, because the Legend contract just means that they're there if WWE wants them.
Pretty much. And then they can't turn around and talk shit about WWE and make them look bad. But,
I'd say WWE does that themselves.
True.
Yep.
Moving along. Next up on the list, I mentioned this to Marcus earlier in the week, but it was noted following all these vignettes that have been shown on Raw and SmackDown that movie directors and noted wrestling fans, the Soska twins, who you might know directed the WWE film See No Evil 2, starring Kane, have been noted on Twitter that they badly want to make a movie about the Wyatt family. And apparently, in response to the tweet they put out to this effect, the fans are very in support of this idea.
But WWE's got rid of the Wyatt family.
Well, supposedly, if you believe the little dirt sheets, I didn't put this on here, but supposedly they released Harper and Rowan because Vince is very big on Luke Harper being a solo guy because he thinks he has more. He thinks he could be a bigger solo star than Bray Wyatt. But they're not going to leave Bray Wyatt hanging out in the breeze because the family is going to gain new members called up from NXT, namely the Ascension.
In name only.
In name only.
Yeah, which could be true, but there is pictures of Bray Wyatt on a recent house show. And he's dressed in overalls and stuff like they've changed his gimmick or changed how he looks.
You sure that's just not old pictures of him as Husky Harris?
No, I mean, he's as Bray Wyatt, but he's got like more of, you know, like the Luke Harper overalls.
Fair
so
enough.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, we'll find out. The vignettes are leading somewhere. We'll find out eventually. Moving along. It was announced at this past week's SmackDown TV tapings that tickets for the 2015 Royal Rumble will go on sale this Friday, or yesterday, so they're on sale now. Go buy them. And it was also announced with this reveal that at the 2015 Royal Rumble will feature 40 men, only the second Royal Rumble in history to do so. The Royal Rumble itself will be taking place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Sunday, the 25th of January.
Is anyone else with me on that stupid choice?
Mm-hmm.
Because who remembers the last 40-man one? It wasn't good.
Not particularly.
Although, if they do it right, it could be. The reason the last one wasn't that good is because it mainly featured the Nexus as a group beating people up and throwing them out and wasting the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm. That was probably the entire reason they did that, so they could put all the Nexus members in there and not have it screw everybody else in the Rumble. Even though it did anyway. Also, I mentioned I don't want to see this because I don't want to see him get buried any further. Am I the only one who would not be shocked if The Rock shows up and throws Rusev out?
Mm-hmm.
If the feud goes that far, but...
Yeah, well, who knows? Brock was talking about fighting Rusev at WrestleMania or some junk, so I don't know.
You also mentioned fighting Triple H at WrestleMania.
True. Also, am I the only one that really wanted, when they were cutting that segment and they started challenging each other, am I the only one that really wanted the two of them to look at the camera and then the camera to pan back into the arena to show them they're looking through the Titantron at the WrestleMania sign? That would have been amazing. But anyway. So yes, 2015 Royal Rumble, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sunday, January 25th, 40 men. Tickets on sale now.
Or it could possibly be like last time, 39 men and 1 woman.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, I don't know if I'll put a woman in it this year. Well, they could do in Natalia and have her eliminate Tyson Kidd.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be awesome.
Or they'll do the dickish thing of have Natalia in there. She'll eliminate someone and Tyson Kidd will eliminate her.
Yeah, that would go. He would do really well. Or given that he's hanging out with Christian over on the network, maybe Edge's girlfriend Beth Phoenix will show up and throw somebody out.
Yep. She is the only female ever to enter the Royal Rumble and eliminate someone.
That's true.
Because we have had a female enter, but they never eliminate anyone.
Yep. But in all fairness, she has the claim of being the only female Intercontinental Champion, so she kind of made up for it.
True, true.
Moving along. So
And I
next,
did like her as Intercontinental Champion.
yes. So we did finally confirm what's going on with the cryptic tweets here. Apparently, due to WWE's issues with the current depth of their roster, Chris Jericho will in fact be making a quick return to appear on the WWE European Tour. While he's not scheduled to appear on Raw at all, he is set to work 6 dates on the European Tour from November 10th through November 15th, with a possible appearance on the SmackDown taping on the 11th.
Nice.
So,
And can we also point out the stupidness with WWE?
sure.
Not with that. With something I didn't think you'd have in the news. I was meant to mention it for my SmackDown notes. I
Okay.
mentioned it to Marcus. On SmackDown, they talked about the WWE Network coming to the UK on November the 1st. And I'm like, cool. Okay, and Michael Cole says, go to WWE.com for more information. I went to WWE.com. I looked at more information. It says, there will be a date announced for it by November 1st. It's like, wait, so November 1st isn't the date? You have to announce when you're going to announce the date? What?
They're copying the game industry or something. Or
Yeah,
the movie
well,
industry, too.
in all fairness, this is not new for WWE. They consistently announce that they're going to make announcements.
They do, but it just seemed weird that Michael Cole contradicted what WWE.com says, and WWE.com had no information besides what he said, unless you include the date will be announced by that, but it seems like the date has been announced for November 1st. I don't know. It just seemed weird. Go there for more information, and there's no more information. What the fuck?
Of course not. Yeah.
Bailey was just sat there, wasn't he? He was just sat there grinning with UK, you mad bros.
Yep, pretty much.
Much like those other ones that recently escaped it. I hope this coal miner gets buried in the coal mine.
Ah.
It's really an outdated reference when they freed them.
Pretty much. Moving along. Alright, next on the list, apparently, and this is probably one of the things contributing to the issues with depth of roster here, apparently Randy Orton has reached a new agreement with WWE recently, where he apparently is now on the Brock Lesnar contract.
He's on a
Makes
Legends
sense.
contract?
He's apparently reached a new agreement where he's no longer working full-time on the road. He's no longer obligated to work all the weekend live events. Maybe he'll still be on Raw and SmackDown regularly, but he's not working all the live events. Orton vs. Dean Ambrose is scheduled to be the recurring main event for the first leg of the European Tour, but after that, Orton will not be appearing on the rest of the tour.
To be fair, that does make sense, only because if I had my way, and I don't mean because we don't like him before people said that, Cena should be on that contract too, because both of them are older now, they're more injury prone. Let's keep them for TV, people.
That's true. That does make sense.
It's like, to Jericho's credit, he does work house shows, but like The Rock will come back and he'll do the Raws and stuff and the SmackDowns, but he won't do the taped house shows and stuff because WWE knows he could get injured in there. Same with Brock. Why risk it?
Right.
Although that does mean every live show doesn't have a world champion at this point, but I don't see that as a bad thing. I don't see that as a bad thing because, to be fair, when you watch the live shows, same thing when you watch the UK exclusive pay-per-views, you know the title's not changing hands because no cameras. Except for that one time when Nash won it off Bob Backlund in like 3 seconds. Yeah, how's that for an outdated reference? Does anyone else remember that? Ray showed it on one of the Raws, something like quickly. Bob Backlund against Nash. Nash just kicked him in the chest. Jackknife 1, 2, 3. Wins the world title, and that's how he wins it. He won it off screen.
Okay, then.
Wow. Fair enough.
Indeed. Indeed. Moving
Anything
on.
else, Jim?
Was that
Yeah.
it for the news?
I got a couple more things.
Of course.
Sorry, there's a lot of news. I have 2 more things, then we're done. The second thing we'll be interested to know. I hope you like your $9.99 promos.
Oh boy.
WWE is set to do another major promotional push for the network starting after the Thanksgiving holiday, because they'll be pushing the network as the best Christmas gift possible for the wrestling fan in your home.
That just
Surely.
seems obvious.
Mhm.
To be fair, that just seems obvious. That's that's nothing, Jim. Around November, December, Sony will be heavily pushing the PS4 as a perfect Christmas gift. It's obvious.
Maybe-
It's a product you're moving near Christmas.
They
Yeah.
need to combine forces.
PS4s for just $9.99. I think Sony'd go bankrupt.
Now they'll just be like, PS4 and the WWE Network perfect together. The perfect tag team.
Buy a PS4 and get free six months of the WWE Network for free. After that, just $9.99.
That would be actually not a bad idea.
That would work.
PS4 and the WWE Network go hand in hand, the perfect combination. And as Triple H just said it, boom, from the stage, Bill Gates just hits him in the back with a chair.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you. As he walks.
But he does it with his shirt ripped off with all his tats from when he appeared on South Park.
Yes. Oh, if we do get a gaming person ever on WWE TV, does anyone else want Rusev to make an open challenge and just hear the words, "My body is ready"? How's that for Pro America?
There you go.
Wow.
Why? What's wrong? They had an actor come back this week. Why couldn't they have Reggie?
Okay, and now getting back to things WWE does that make no goddamn sense, and they're hoping people won't notice.
Mm.
As seen on WWE.com yesterday, Paul Heyman cut a promo prior to Tuesday's SmackDown taping in Philadelphia. They ended up putting it on YouTube instead of airing it on SmackDown. There's no word yet as to whether that promo was going to air Friday night. Apparently, I'm assuming it did not, Mo.
I didn't see a Paul Heyman promo,
Fair enough. They cut the promo. I thought they did.
but it depends what it's for.
Well, the plan is apparently to keep Heyman off television for a while because he was reportedly not even at Monday's Raw in Brooklyn. While plans could change, the idea is to keep Heyman off TV as to not call attention to the fact that WWE's World Heavyweight Champion is not going to be seen again until freaking January.
See, Paul Heyman should have been on SmackDown because he was a GM.
He was. He was also a commentator.
True. But I
He was-
didn't like him as a commentator.
I thought he was great as a commentator. I happened to be watching a clip just the other day of one. I don't even remember what match it was, but JR and Paul Heyman were the commentators, and they were playing great off each other.
Yeah, JR and Paul Heyman did do back and forth. I didn't like him. I don't know why. As commentator, I didn't like him. I liked him as GM and stuff. To his credit, it was just maybe on commentary I thought he was similar to heel Cole, where it got too much.
I remember it was the segment where The Rock and Jericho came out to the stage and they were talking trash to Stephanie and Booker T in the ring. That's what.
That
it was.
was-
Oh, and Rhino, and Rhino was in the ring too.
Yeah, which like I said, I thought he got too much when he was commentating like heel Cole. But
True.
my favourite commentator was Matt Stryker. In terms of one they've let go in recent years. Otherwise, it's obviously like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. I like those two.
And Renee Young.
Yeah, I like Renee Young. I'm to talk about of all time.
Fair enough. Yeah, definitely. All time. So,
Anyway.
also, we should throw an honorable mention to Gordon Soley, by the way. Before all our times, but also, fun fact I found out: going to Gordon Soley, one of the last dudes to pronounce the word "souffle" properly, because that's how it's actually pronounced, because it's a French word.
Nice.
But anyway, so so basically they're not showing Paul Heyman because they don't want people to realize, wait, Brock's a champion, he's not around for 3 months. What the fuck, WWE? So they're trying to hide that fact by not reminding you that, oh, by the way, Brock Lesnar's the champion and he's not here.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
So I think it's kind of dumb because I think if you're gonna have a champion, he should at least, if you're not gonna have him there, at least have him cut some satellite promos and talk some crap on the Titantron. Even if he's not gonna be there, have him record like 4 promos, just show him every other week or something, just so it looks like he's involved.
I could agree with that.
It just seems like, okay, you're just now bitching out your title by not having your champion there. I always disagree. It's kind of the same thing with The Rock. It worked because The Rock showed up every few weeks, and the weeks that he wasn't there, Cena came out and talked trash to him, and also Occasionally, The Rock would show up via satellite. But Cena was able to carry their feud because Cena was there every week talking shop, and they were building that feud directly as it was going on. In this case, Brock Lesnar is gone, and he's not in a feud right now. Nobody is involved as a champion at all.
Yeah, to be fair, like I don't mind it though, because when we get him on TV, it seems bigger. And we already had to put up with no champion when Daniel Bryan was injured, and they kept the title on him for like 3 or 4 fucking months without actually giving us a title match or anything like that, because we didn't want to upset the kids screaming yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
So it's like, fair enough.
Fair enough.
But I did wish he was at Hell in a Cell against Cena.
That would have been good. That would have been good. But yes,
Final bit of news?
No, that is it for the news. Unless I'll mention this one last thing. That Forbes magazine put out a list of the Fab 40 most valuable brands in sports. WrestleMania as a brand came in at $105 million, and was number 8 on the list overall.
Yeah, cool.
It should be well noted that it was handily beat by the UFC, which is valued at $440 million.
Fair enough.
So there you go.
Cool.
So that's a fun thing. So that is it for the news. Back over to you, Richard Hammer. Take us out.
All right, so I'd like to thank everyone here for contributing to another WXR, and I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in whenever you happen to hear this. And we will be back next week, I believe Saturday, right? There's no pay-per-view next weekend. It's like 3 weeks away, right?
It might be 2 weeks. Oh,
2 weeks.
I'm not sure. Because I think it's like the 20-something.
Oh, okay.
That'd be
I thought it was
2
like early November. Okay. Because isn't it like right after the game comes out, or like a week after the game or something?
I think it's like the week before the game. So I think it's
Oh, okay.
October. And then before the game on PS4 and stuff, or just afterwards, we have Survivor Series. But in November, so end of October-ish.
Okay.
WWE Hell in a Cell, October 16th, 2014.
Oh, so it'd be this weekend, wouldn't it?
So that's coming weekend. Yeah, next weekend. Oh,
Nope.
okay, so next weekend it'll
No,
be
because it's
weekend-
not the
no,
12th.
next weekend. No, next weekend is the 18th and 19th.
But you just said October 16th.
No, I said 26th.
What did
You
you say,
said
Jeff?
16th.
Yeah,
He
he's
said
right.
16th.
You said
I was like,
16th.
on a Thursday?
26th. 26th. 26th.
two-
So it'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow,
Okay.
or 2 weeks from today if you're on Mole's side of the pond.
Yay. Yep.
All
And
right.
next week we get to hear Marcus Shadow's thoughts on Rusev vs. Big Show.
Indeed.
I could tell you my thoughts right now.
You can. WWE has it up already.
That's what happens when you get the network.
Yeah, it puts out next week's show. It's like that cat we used to bring someone the newspaper. Who remembers Daily Edition? Yeah. Outdated
Everyone remembers
references
that.
for the win. All out.
Oh,
Pretty much.
yeah.
And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for part 2 of our Around the Pound of All Time Awards, which will be doing the worst of the 15 categories that we did best of last week.
Indeed.
Yep. And Monday's the final of our Amazon pilot season, hosted by Marcus Shadow.
Indeed. That'll be our
In
overall
3D.
Should be. Anyway. That's Market Shadow's noise. But
There you go. Market Shadow, now in 3D.
all right, so be sure to check those out, everybody, and thank you again for joining us. Hopefully we will see you again next week. Goodbye.